The bedroom smelled like fresh lilies and clean linen. Everything was white, cream, or gold, immaculate, untouched. Even the air felt expensive, filtered through silence and power. Amara lay sprawled on the massive bed, arms above her head, staring at the ceiling like it might offer answers. The chandelier above her glittered like frozen fireworks, too bright, too perfect. It made her feel like a ghost in someone else's story. She hadn't seen Wei Chen since the signing. Not at breakfast. Not in a hallway. Not even a text or a check-in. Just quiet footsteps in distant hallways and the kind but silent presence of the old maid who had started appearing at her door with tea and towels. She was married.
Technically.
And yet, she'd never felt more alone. The dress for tonight arrived at exactly 6:30 p.m. A knock on the door, then the creak of hinges as the maid entered, stooped, wrinkled, but graceful in her movements. She placed a garment bag and a velvet box on the bed, gave Amara a polite nod, and without a word, began laying out everything with the precision of someone who had once dressed royalty. "From Mr. Chen," she said, her voice soft and weathered. "For tonight's visit." Amara sat up. "Visit?" The maid didn't elaborate, just motioned toward the dress and jewelry before retreating into the adjoining dressing area with a warm towel and a hairbrush in hand. Midnight blue silk shimmered through the open zipper of the bag. Off-shoulder, sculpted to the waist, delicate beading like tiny stars scattered across a night sky. It looked expensive, deliberate,
strategic.
Inside the box, a sapphire pendant necklace, oval cut, deep as the sea, suspended on a thin platinum chain. She ran her thumb over the cool stone, heart-thudding. This wasn't a gesture of kindness. It was armor, a message, a test. They were dressing her up like a trophy. With gentle but firm hands, the old maid helped her into the gown, zipped her up, twisted her hair into a low, elegant bun, and slid in a pair of sapphire studs to match the pendant. The final touch, a faint dusting of translucent powder across her nose. Amara stepped to the wide vanity. Her face stared back, elegant but wary. Her fingers moved automatically. Shimmer on her lids, a soft wing, a mauve gloss. By the time she was done, she looked like a churn. She took one last look in the mirror, straightened her shoulders, and breathed. "You've made your deal. Now play the part." At 6:59 p.m., the knock came. She opened the door. And there he was. Wei Chen stood on the threshold, impossibly composed. He wore a charcoal gray suit, tailored to the inch.
No tie.
The top buttons of his crisp white shirt undone, revealing a glimpse of his collarbone. His hair was brushed back, clean and severe, his jaw freshly shaven. He looked like the heir to a dynasty. Sharp, controlled, dangerous. But when his eyes landed on her, something flickered. "You clean up nice," she said, breaking the silence. "So do you," he replied. They stood there for a beat longer than necessary. Then, without a word, he extended his arm. She hesitated, then took it. The hallway stretched before them, lined with ancient vases, priceless paintings, and the echo of forgotten footsteps. Amara had never felt more like an outsider, and yet, with his arm linked in hers, she looked exactly like she belonged. They descended the grand staircase in silence. The house was still. No flowers being arranged, no silver polished. Just the distant ticking of a clock and the sound of their shoes against marble. No one was preparing for anything here. The real stage was elsewhere. "Where are we going?" she finally asked. "To meet my grandmother," he said, "and the rest of the family." "Your parents won't be there?" His gaze stayed ahead. "I don't have parents." The words were quiet but absolute. Amara nodded slowly. "And your grandmother?" "She's the one who matters." Outside, a sleek black Mercedes waited, the driver already standing by. As they stepped outside, a sudden blinding barrage of light exploded from the end of the driveway. Flashbulbs. Dozens. Reporters leaned over barricades. Cameras zoomed. Questions erupted. "Mr. Chen, is this your official debut as a couple?" "Miss Jackson, is the ring real or just for show? Are you planning to have children? Was this marriage arranged by the family board?" Every flash, every question, felt like a bullet. Amara's fingers tightened on his arm. He didn't flinch, didn't answer, didn't even blink. Just walked, effortlessly calm, as if the entire world had slowed for him. His presence was a shield and a warning. When they reached the car, the driver opened the door, and Wei Chen held it for her. She slid in without a word, careful to keep her legs together, her face unreadable. He joined her, the door shutting with a soft click that somehow felt final. The car pulled away. Silence bloomed between them, but it wasn't empty. It was electric, charged with everything left unsaid. Amara looked out the window, at the estate vanishing behind them in the mirror, and then at the man beside her, the stranger she'd married to survive. She didn't love him. He didn't love her. But they had both chosen this. And as the city lights flickered across her face, she realized something chilling. They weren't pretending anymore. They were performing. Every word, every gesture, every breath. And this stage, it was made of silk and secrets. And the cost of failure
was blood.
As the car veered into the private entrance of the Chen ancestral estate, Amara saw how the night had only begun. The private driveway was lined with imported roses, discreet security teams, and luxury vehicles bearing elite license plates. She recognized a few: investors, politicians, even an A-list actress from Shanghai. Wei Chen turned to her. "From this moment on, everything you say, every glance, every silence, is a move on the chessboard." "And if I lose?" she asked quietly. His jaw tightened. "You won't. Not with me beside you." He said it like a vow. She wasn't sure whether to be comforted or terrified. The car stopped in front of the grand double doors, flanked by two guards in traditional black suits. As they stepped out, a soft melody drifted from inside, a string quartet playing something classical and sharp. The foyer was filled with murmuring guests, glittering gowns, and cold stares. And standing at the top of the grand staircase, like a queen holding court, was a woman in an ivory cheongsam laced with gold. Madame Chen. Her eyes locked onto Amara's instantly. There was no smile, just calculation. And as Amara ascended the stairs, arm in arm with Wei Chen, the room quieted. In that frozen moment, she realized something else. This wasn't dinner. This was war. And the diamonds on her neck were bait.